Oh, that's a good one. I came out at the terrible time of the day on purpose because I wanted to show you guys how effective these hellgrammites are and how effective I was thinking these sinking hellgrammites are going to be. Because even at the worst time of the day right now, it's in the 90s, the water temperature's in the 80s, the water's low, it's clear, the fish can see me from a mile away. As you can see, these sinking hellgrammites are catching me bass, and this is a good one. This is a good summer bass right here. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Nikko has been working on a new bait for a while, and they sent me a few packs to try out and see how I like them. And that is the sinking hellgrammite. Now, I think this bait's going to be a game changer. I think it's going to make a huge difference for those of us who like to wade creeks. I think we're going to be able to catch a lot of bass on it. So in this video, I'm going to take you guys over to the fish tank and show you what makes this new hellgrammite different from the old ones. Maybe how you can use it. And then after we do that, we're going to head out to the creek. Even though it's in the middle of the day, it's hot, it's in the 90s, the sun is high. But we're going to try to catch a few bass on it because I haven't fished it yet. But if it works the way I'm thinking it will, we should still be able to get on some smallmouth even in these hot, miserable conditions. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. So guys, we're over at the aquarium here, and I'm going to show you how the new hellgrammites are going to differ from the traditional standby hellgrammites that I use a lot and that I love. See, we have the typical hellgrammite here. It's great. I fished it a lot, I caught a lot of bass on it. But this is a floating material. You'll see when I put this in the water, it's going to stay right on the surface. Some guys are going to fish these like topwater baits, but if you're wanting to fish a hellgrammite in a weightless presentation, it's going to float. Now, what a lot of guys are going to do to get this lower in the water column is fish this on something like a Z-Man finesse bullet or a Ned jig head like we have here, and you have this bait, it'll drop right to the bottom. So that takes care of the floating. It's not really an issue, but the floating aspect of this bait, but it's going to drop quickly, it's going to stand up nicely, and that's a great presentation for the creeks. But if you're like me, I don't necessarily always want to fish my hellgrammites on the top or on the bottom. Sometimes I really like to stay in the middle of the water column, because when I see hellgrammites in the creeks and in the rivers, I notice that when they get kicked up from rocks, they kind of spread out their legs and just let the current take them. They're not really great swimmers. They kind of stay in the middle. So one way I really take care of this is that I'll often fish a hellgrammite on a weightless Tokyo rig. That bare wire kind of splits the difference between something like a Ned and a topwater presentation, and it gives it some depth. It sinks not quite as fast as a jig head, and with the moving current, it has more of a slow arching pattern rather than a straight drop to the bottom. Now keep in mind, this is a 4 1/4 inch hellgrammite I have this Tokyo rig on, so it's a little bigger. But that's why I fish the Tokyo rig a lot, because I like to fish my hellgrammites more in the middle of the water column. Now where these sinking hellgrammites are going to come into play and make a huge difference is that it's going to really take away the need for me to use the Tokyo rig all the time. You see, this is a sinking hellgrammite. This is green pumpkin, so it's a little bit of a different color than that traditional hellgrammite in Mudbug, but there's not a lot of difference. But look, when I put these in the water, what's going to happen. That sinking hellgrammite is going to slowly descend to the bottom, and that traditional hellgrammite is going to stay on the top. Again, it's not a super rapid descent like you have with the Ned, but a very gradual descent. And I really like that because, again, I like fishing hellgrammites more in the middle of the water column. You're going to have that slow descent with the current pushing the hellgrammite through the water, and you're not going to have that jig head just drop to the bottom immediately and grind along the bottom. Of course, you can catch fish using the Ned and the finesse bullets and all that, but sometimes, again, I like a really slow, gradual descent with my hellgrammites. So I'm thinking that I can fish these sinking hellgrammites weightless with something like size 1 drop shot hook, like I fish a lot with flukes, or a small offset hook, a small EWG hook, whatever you prefer. But it's going to give a very nice, subtle descent through the water. The current's going to push it downstream as it's dropping, and bass are going to just pick this up as it slowly works its way through the current. So I'm thinking that even though it's hot, even though it's the middle of the day, the sun's high, it's in the 90s, we're cooking, I'm gonna take this out to the water because I haven't fished it yet. And we're going to see if this sinking hellgrammite can get on some warm weather, summer bass, fishing it weightless. So let's see if we can catch a few fish. So guys, we're back out on the creek, and I came out today because I wanted to try a new bait that Nikko just came out with, and I'm super pumped about this. It's the sinking hellgrammite. If you fished Nikko hellgrammites before, if you were to fish them weightless, they would float. That makes them nice when you're fishing them on a Ned rig or something like that because they stand up pretty well. But my favorite way to fish a hellgrammite is a slow drifting pattern right through the middle of the water column, because that's how I notice hellgrammites swimming naturally. So the way I accomplish this usually with the typical hellgrammite is I like to fish it a lot on a weightless Tokyo rig, especially the 4 1/4 inch, because it's not enough weight to drag the bottom and it doesn't float. It just drifts right through the middle of the water column without a lot of work. What's really cool about this new sinking hellgrammite is that I can fish it weightless and accomplish the same pattern that I used to have to use a weightless Tokyo rig or something like that for, or a very, very light jig head. So to test this out, I'm putting this on size 1 drop shot hook. They came out with 3 colors to start for the sinking hellgrammite. Mudbug, which is what I have tied on, obsidian, which is the black color, and then green pumpkin, all pretty standard killer hellgrammite colors. Now you could, if you want to fish this weightless, you could fish it on an EWG or an offset hook or whatever you like, something small. But I fish flukes a lot with this drop shot hook, and that's what I'm going to start with for this hellgrammite. Again, I'm just going to cast upstream, let the current do all the work. I'm watching my line, because when it's hot like this, these bass aren't going to absolutely slam these hellgrammites. They're going to just slurp them up as they're drifting through the current. So I really need to watch my line and feel for those very subtle bites. Again, I'm not working this at all. Once in a blue moon, I'm going to give it a little pop or something to help get that slack out. But otherwise, I'm just letting it drift. There we go. There's a fish. Very subtle. Picked up this hellgrammite as it floated through. Caught that guy on nothing but the new sinking hellgrammite and a drop shot hook. All right, let's get this guy back. Thank you, buddy. Again, you could fish this with through body hook, like an offset or EWG or something, but I've just got this on a little drop shot hook. I've said this a lot, but I really don't work hellgrammites very much. I let the current do most of the work. So we're in this moving water because it's so hot. I'm just going to cast a little bit upstream, try to keep as little slack as possible. Just watch my line, because they're not going to crush it. They're just going to slurp this thing up as it drifts by. Almost no movement. Every once in a while, I'll give it a tiny little lift of the rod tip, But for the most part, I'm just watching my line, letting it drift. And I think we tightened up there for a minute. There we go. And there's one right there. Just letting it drift. I think this guy picked it up. Maybe got the tail first or something like that. Just let it keep drifting. This one's a little better. Golly, dude. Calm yourself. And nothing but a little drop shot hook and that sinking Hellgrammite. Thank you, buddy. And when I fish this is my first time fishing the sinking Hellgrammite, but when I'm fishing this pattern, I use a spinning setup. This is the Trika 6X 7-foot medium light fast action. Got canine fishing, high visibility braid. This is pink. And I've got fluorocarbon leader down to my Hellgrammite. When I'm out here and it's the terrible time of the day, it's hot, it's the summer, I'm out here when the sun's high in the middle of the day, it's because I just want to break from sitting at a computer, get out for a minute, cast a few. It's not really intentional. I try to give you guys some tips for fishing this time of the day, but it's not a super conscious choice. Today, oh, that's a good one. I came out at the terrible time of the day on purpose because I wanted to show you guys how effective these Hellgrammites are and how effective I was thinking these sinking Hellgrammites are going to be. Because even at the worst time of the day right now, it's in the 90s, the water temperature's in the 80s, the water's low, it's clear, the fish can see me from a mile away. So you can see these sinking Hellgrammites are catching me bass, and this is a good one. This is a good summer bass right here. Heck yeah. If you're thinking that big fish won't eat little little baits, I've caught some of my biggest fish on little baits, and this is a good summer creek bass right here. Holy moly. Oh no, he's barely hooked too. Oh no. Oh no. Get over here. I just want to take some pictures. Heck yes. Look at that guy. We will take that all day long. Like I said, guys, look at that. Good fish on the sinking Hellgrammite. Nose hooked, size 1 drop shot hook. Middle of the day. Worst time of the day to fish. I'm guessing this guy is 3-2. What do you guys think? We're gonna find out here together. 211. Overestimated a little bit. Not quite a 3-pounder, but look how long this fish is. He's skinny in his summer pattern, but that's a good fish for that Hellgrammite right there. In the heat of the day, thank you, buddy. Give him a little revive, just let him catch his breath here. In the heat of the day, sun high, fish are spooky. Worst time of the day to fish, this Hellgrammite is a game changer. Catching fat smallies in the middle of the summer. Now, I didn't play this fish very much, at least I didn't try to. But with it being so hot, I'm just trying to make sure he's okay before I let him go. Get some water over his gills, not keep him out of the water too long. He's starting to perk up already. I feel him perking up. I could let him go now and he'd be fine probably, but I'm just double checking here. All right, buddy. There he goes. There he goes, swimming off right there. A little lethargic, but it's hot, I get it. There we go. Very subtle bite. Barely felt it. Just felt my line go a little tight. But just slurping this thing up as it drifts by. Another one on that sinking Hellgrammite. I can tell I'm going to be using this guy a lot. When the bite's tough especially. Just drifting that guy through the current. It's a killer. In creeks especially. There we go. Didn't even feel that bite, I just saw my line start to straighten out. Lazy hot bass, but they can't resist a Hellgrammite. Oh, goodness gracious, dude. Did you just realize you're caught? Calm down. Not a bad little guy. Thank you for the fight, buddy. Man, such a subtle bite right here when it's 1,000,000 degrees. All right, guys, I'm starting to get hot. And I think we accomplished what we set out to do, which was test out this new sinking Hellgrammite and confirm my suspicion that drifting this bait weightless through a creek, even in the middle of the day when the sun is high, is going to catch you some bass. And it did.